So, Dr Rob Symmons, welcome back to Butser Ancient Farm.
Dr Kearns.
Not quite.
Give it time.
So, you're no stranger to the farm, of course, and
Love it.
you're probably most famous for being Curator Rob at Fishbourne Roman Palace. However, the reason that we're here today is to talk about one of your most recent adventures and new, let's call it a feather in your cap, claim to fame. You now, if I'm not mistaken, are the unofficial world record holder for...
Standing in the most hypocausts in one day.
Amazing. So
with the emphasis on unofficial.
it's a world record nonetheless. So tell me, how did it all come about? What inspired you, let's say?
It was a slow day in the office. There was a thing on the Twitters where myself and the most excellent Dr Miles Russell from Bournemouth University were essentially knocking lumps out of each other because I can't even remember how it started, but he wanted to stand in our Hypocaust at Fishbourne and I wouldn't let him.
I think it was an envy thing. I think, had he seen somebody else, some famous personality?
Correct. He's seen a certain Tony Robinson.
There you go.
And he was faux anger. And then, of course, online people started finding hypocausts themselves and standing in them and posting pictures. And I imagine that upset him even more. And I had an opportunity to go to the Isle of Wight, and I thought I'd stand in the Hypocaust, see if I could get permission to stand in the Hypocaust at Brading Roman Villa. And then I thought, what would upset Miles more than standing in a Hypocaust? Standing in 6 hypocausts.
For miles. So you were basically trying to fuel his rage.
I was just trying to upset him as much as I possibly could.
It was amazing. I was on Twitter at the time and I remember it very clearly. It had thousands and thousands of retweets and hits, and of course, let's say it was #HypocaustGate.
Indeed, yeah, absolutely. And it's something we couldn't have predicted, and it was a lot of fun while it lasted.
So your world record, unofficial, of course.
Unofficial.
But started at, I imagine, Fishbourne Roman Palace?
It did not.
Uh-huh.
It started from a campsite just outside. There was a lot of planning. Yes, I just didn't get up one morning and do this. It was incredibly stressful, actually. But no, it started in a campsite just outside Brading on the Isle of Wight. Absolutely fantastic site. I've obviously been at my job too long because one of the lovely things about Brading, it's got the most beautiful cover building. It's a modern cover building, but it's such a dramatic piece of architecture. But they were very, very kind to me. They opened up nice and early. They showed me around the site and then took me to the Hypocaust room, which is in a side room, a much older. I hesitate to call it a shed, but compared to their lovely, lovely modern building, it's a little bit more of a shed. And it's such a gorgeous construction and very, very well preserved. Actually, you got to climb in through the stoke hole, and it's very well preserved. I think it's associated with a bathroom on the site rather than a living area.
And because you were doing it by bicycle, right? So
absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, I like a little bit of cycling, and yes. So it's Brading. Started at Brading, then we overshot Fishbourne, went straight to the Novium Museum. And the Novium's an incredible museum right in the heart of Chichester, and it's built on top of the Roman bathhouse for Chichester itself. So you go in the entrance and the first thing you see is the remains of Chichester's Roman bathhouse, including the Hypocaust.
Wow.
God
so
bless
how big
them.
is it?
A substantial size. I wouldn't like, maybe the bit that's exposed, maybe sort of 10 metres, and it's quite deep as well. You walk in at ground level, but you're looking down into what was actually a 1960s, I think, a 1960s or 1970s trench when it was originally excavated by a chap called Alec Down. But it's not just a Hypocaust. You're basically looking into an archaeological trench, a small part of which is part of the Roman heating system. But there it was a hop, skip and a jump just a mile and a half down the road to a site I know quite well called Fishbourne Roman Palace. Nice thing about that is I didn't have to ask the curator for permission to do this.
Your Hypocaust.
My Hypocaust, my game. My rules. but yes, and I forgot that we have 3 Hypocausts there, so it was a triple whammy.
So did it give you a kind of a renewed appreciation for your own Hypocaust at Fishbourne?
Do you know, of the 3 that I stood in on that day, it was the closest I'd ever got to one of them. And then I thought, where's the next closest one? And obviously, lovely, lovely Bignor, which is Stane Street, along Stane Street.
All right, so the Roman road, you were cycling on it.
Yeah, and that nearly killed me.
So how long in total? Was it like 45k or something?
It's about 45 miles.
Wow.
And it was very lucky. All the planets were in alignment, all the gods were shining on me, and I managed to get a ferry that I wasn't planning to get, and everything worked. It was all perfect. It was all perfect. And I finally got to Bignor and thought I was going to die. You know the way Roman roads are really straight? They're straight in that axis, but they do this a lot. They're not very straight.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not very straight horizontally. and yeah, I was a lot less fit than I thought I was. Are you allowed to have a favourite Hypocaust?
Absolutely.
Bignor. You've got to love that Hypocaust.
Okay, I've never, yeah, I must go.
Got to go. So it's underneath the mosaic, and unlike any of the others that I saw that day, the mosaic has partially collapsed into the void where the pile are, but not all of the floor has. So you can see the floor, and then there's a big hole in the floor, and you can see the Hypocaust actually underneath, still supporting the floor. It's a lovely, lovely bit of survival.
So in the Fishbourne Hypocaust, I too didn't realise until very recently that you have in fact 3. Is there a feeling that there are probably more in that whole complex, but yet to be discovered?
Yeah, well, we know the bathhouse, the main bathhouse that was built in AD 60, 15 years before the palace itself. That would have had a whole heating system with it, but that's all underneath the village. So that's in the back gardens of a number of our neighbours.
That's amazing. Do you get people who come to you and, you know, are they digging their gardens? Because you totally would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but it's completely illegal.
Oh.
Well, no, it's not. You're allowed to dig to 30 centimetres if it's gardening. You're not allowed to plant trees. I have to tell you, I went into a house a couple of weeks ago. I won't tell you which one, but in their basement, they have a basement with a dirt floor in the basement. It's very, very low ceiling, dirt floor in the basement, and in the corner of that basement, this is so nerdy, is a trench dug by Barry Cunliffe in 1960. Still there.
Wow.
So
And they've kept it because they know the significance.
I don't think it's been intentionally kept, but it's not been intentionally backfilled. And the people that live there now are absolutely lovely people, and they kind of appreciate the value of one of the original Fishbourne trenches. So much more exciting to me than Hypocausts and mosaics. I think a little piece of archaeological history. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that.
That's amazing. But do you have people coming to you all the time finding things, so random finds around Fishbourne that probably relate to the palace? Or
Yeah, Fishbourne and beyond, people forever bringing things in. It's difficult for me because I'm not, people often bringing coins in. I know nothing about coins. My thing is animal bones, and nobody ever brings animal bones in to show us, sadly. But yeah, people are often bringing things in they found. There are places in Fishbourne where you can walk around the fields and just pick up bits of Roman archaeology. It's not uncommon.
Wow. And so tell me, have you had, since Miles's incursion into your Hypocaust, have you had loads of requests of people who want to come and do the same?
We have had some randoms.
And have you let them, are you, how free and easy? I mean, I guess you have to be really careful because it is a pretty delicate piece of archaeology, really.
Yeah, you've got to be, I mean, it's like a game of Twister down there. You know, you don't, if you back into one of the pile and you knock it over, you can't undo that damage.
Yeah, so how do you maintain it? Do you have a course or a strict kind of strategy for this is how you look after a Hypocaust?
We're just removing surface dust, really. If you do anything more than that, you're starting to remove archaeological sediment, and that's going to be hugely damaging over the years.
So has it, presumably it's degraded over time a little bit, or how do you monitor that?
We do monitor it. The archaeology does degrade and will degrade, and we always say if we wanted to protect the mosaics forever, we'd rebury them, you know, and then they'd be safe. So everything we do is always a balance between preservation and access. We could give people 100% access to the floors and they'd last a week, or we could 100% protect them and nobody would ever see them again. So we're trying to find that sort of tipping point, that balance between the two. We're trying to ensure that the groundwater isn't causing small problems that we need.
Because it's easy to forget how close you are to the harbour. It's in the harbour.
It's 200 metres away. I mean, and people forget that the site is a hole in the ground. You know, it feels like you're walking around, you know, ground level. Our garden feels like ground level. It's at the bottom of a 5 foot deep hole, the whole of our formal garden. So it's easy to forget. And when it rains hard, we do get water coming up.
Not what you want in your Hypocaust, is it?
It's never bothered, not the main Hypocaust. It's bothered one of them, but it's never bothered our main Hypocaust.
So how much of the structure remains? Do you have, I know you have some of the pile, but do you have some of the flue systems? What kind of detail do you have?
We're talking about what I'd call the main Hypocaust,
Yeah.
the one that Miles is so jealous of.
Yeah,
We've got everything up to about a foot high, but the important thing about that system is it was never finished. So there's a lot missing, but that's not because it's been destroyed or been removed. It's because that system was never actually completed, and it certainly never fired. So there was never never a floor on top of our Hypocaust.
So what happened there? It just was happening, being built, and then suddenly an abandonment?
Absolutely, yep.
Oh,
So
right.
they were halfway through built. That Hypocaust is the last, I always say it's the last significant Roman thing that ever happened on the site. So they were halfway through building that Hypocaust, and that's when the fire happened. The damage was enough for the inhabitants just to walk away. They gave up, and there was no attempt to re-inhabit the site.
It must have been such a just depressing, people must have been distraught to see such an incredible structure just done.
The history of the palace as it stood is 200 years. And when it was first constructed, it's the amazing Flavian complex with the four wings and the formal garden and the informal garden to the south. It's what everybody thinks about when they think of Fishbourne Roman Palace. That was AD 75. That's when it's just been built. But actually, it did start to deteriorate pretty quickly. Certainly within sort of 30 years, 25, 30 years. Literally, the cracks were starting to show,
Right.
and at that point they were starting to demolish sections of the building, and you really got the sense that at that stage they couldn't afford its upkeep. I often think of it as being a little bit like an English stately home, where you build this amazing edifice, and then something happens, changing the tax laws or something like that happens, somebody dies or something, and suddenly you have to start sort of hiving off bits and getting, knocking bits down or getting multiple occupancy in or something like that, turning it into flats,
Yeah.
And it's the same sort of thing seemed to happen at Fishbourne. So when the fire happened, it wasn't the amazing Flavian palace. It was a much more modest, still incredibly impressive, but it was a much more modest affair. So yeah, people would have, the owners absolutely would have been pretty upset.
Yeah,
their house had just burned down, but it wasn't so much of a sort of national statement at that stage.
Last question is, have we any intention of making this unofficial world record official?
No.
Fair enough.
It would be broken within about 10 minutes, because
Well,
somebody in Pompeii would get.
I imagine that Dr. Miles Russell is currently there with his maps and his bicycle, calculating what his route is going to be, because he's going to do the 10
I hereby challenge Miles Russell to repeat the Hypocaust gate on a space hopper.
I can picture that scene. Brilliant, bring it on. Thanks a million, Rob. And
Cheers, mate.
I look forward to hearing more about Hypocaust as our week progresses. And shall we go and stoke up our own Hypocaust?
Absolutely.
Brilliant,
Absolutely.
let's do it.